Gozangpala and welcome to yet another edition of Bhutan This Week, our weekly news magazine program. First, the top stories. His Holiness the Jkhempo appoints new Lam and Principal. Maintaining a small, compact and efficient civil service still a challenge. And Miss Bhutan Beauty Pageant back after more than a decade. Now the details. His Holiness the Jkhempo appointed a new principal for Rinchen Sheda in Wandafodrang and a new Lam for the Finsaling Zangdaperi in Chuka. His Holiness awarded Tashilagdar to the appointees at His Holiness's residence in Dungtenfu Temple.
Kesar Doji from Wandafodrang is now the new principal of the Rinchen Sheda in Kothaka. The 49-year-old started his monastic education at the age of 7 at the Wandafodrang Rabdi and received various Buddhist teachings and empowerment from several religious masters. Prior to his new appointment, he served as vice principal of the same Sheda for more than 10 years. Likewise, 40-year-old Tinle is appointed as the new Lam of Finsaling Zangdaperi. He joined monkhood at the age of 8 under the central monastic body. He graduated from Tango Dorjen Tashithang Buddhist University in Thimphu and completed a 3-year retreat from Cheri Dubde. He was the secretary of the Land Survey Division under Juntata before assuming the new post. For Sonam Tenzin, Chingzam, PBS News.
5 decades ago, Bhutan became the 128th member of the United Nations. And since then, the partnership between the UN and Bhutan has grown over the years, with collaborations expanding into different range of fields contributing to Bhutan's development goals.
I declare Bhutan admitted to membership of the United Nations.
After Bhutan's admission to the UN, His Royal Highness Prince Namgyal Wangchuk led the Bhutanese delegation and addressed the 26th session of the United Nations General Assembly.
This is a historic occasion for us and makes the realization of one of our most cherished dreams. On behalf of His Majesty the King Jigme Wangchuk, the government and the people of Bhutan, I should like, therefore, to take this opportunity of expressing our deepest gratitude to all members of this organization assembled here today, and in particular to the Republic of India.
The Bhutanese delegation, along with UN leaders, watched as the Bhutan flag was raised at the UN headquarters in New York in 1971. Even after 50 years, the UN continues to remain an important development partner for the country. The UN has provided a valuable platform for all small states like Bhutan to engage with other members of the international community to contribute towards international peace, security, and development. Bhutan's partnership and engagement with the UN continues to evolve as Bhutan progresses on its development journey. Sunampem for BBS News.
The Finance Minister Namgyal Sring will step in as the chair of the Small States Forum and the vice chair of the Board of Governors of the World Bank Group. He is the country's first finance minister to assume the role. As the chair, Bhutan will lead a forum that comprises finance ministers of 50 countries and governors of central banks of 189 member states. The forum will address the challenges of the small countries. The minister will also convene high-level dialogues with the World Bank Group and other multilateral and bilateral agencies on behalf of the small states.
With the blessings of His Majesty and the guidance of Honorable Prime Minister and the government, I have graciously consented to take both the portfolios with a lot of pride and humility. As eloquently stated in their offer letter, the World Bank precisely mentioned that such offer is made to Bhutan mainly on the account of the exemplary leadership manifested by His Majesty and the government in managing this COVID pandemic.
The classes 10 and 12 board exams have been postponed to February next year. The high school board examinations are normally conducted in December. The Education Ministry has also decided that the home examinations for classes 4 till 9 and for class 11 of schools unaffected by the pandemic will be held in the third week of November. As for the affected schools, they can decide on an appropriate date depending on their syllabus coverage.
But if we conduct these exams at the same time as before, I think it's going to be unfair to students from Princeling. They're not going to get enough time to study as much as others have got. So it was from that perspective that we postponed. We wanted to give these students from Princeling and other affected schools some level playing field.
In emergencies like search and rescue operations, even a smartphone can be used as a tracker using the GPS or global positioning system. Therefore, a group, Druk GPS, consisting of KIDU recipients affected by the COVID pandemic, started an initiative to educate the Desups to use the global positioning system or GPS tracker. The initiative began in Trongsa.
Most smartphones come with a GPS tracking system. And apps such as Google Earth, Google Maps and Google Tracker make it easy to use. People have to share their coordinates or location for help.
All you need to do is you just need to download the software in your phone, and then there is a simple calculation which can be easily learned, and it's as simple as a WeChat or WhatsApp, and then the entire population can send and give their coordinates and then save life, save time and save limited resources of our country.
One day of class was enough to equip the Desups with the basic skills.
When we go for search and rescue, if there is a forest fire, we need to understand where our colleagues are. We can track them if they send us the coordinates. If someone is lost, then we can track them using the coordinates. And the coordinates are very precise, near to plus and minus 4 meters.
I'm a housewife, and I think one need not be highly educated to understand the use of GPS as long as one owns a smartphone. We have to know how to use the applications. So I'll impart the knowledge to housewives in my locality, and this way it will benefit them as well.
32 Desups and some officials in the district were trained. They will now teach others in the community. The Druk GPS team plans to train all Desups across the country. It means people now may not have a hard time describing their whereabouts. For Pasa in Tongsa, Pukiem for BBS News.
While the Royal Civil Service Commission is working towards building a strong civil service, keeping it small, compact and efficient continues to be a challenge. As per the Commission's Annual Report 2020-2021, this time the increase in the number of civil servants is due to the increased demand in the education and health sectors.
In the last 3 years, about 2,800 new civil servants were recruited in the education and health sectors. On the other hand, the rest of the civil service agencies together received only 200 to 300 officers. As per the annual report, policy decisions in the education system have led to the growth in human resources. It states that the RCSC has very little say as the decisions are taken directly by the government, sometimes in consultation with the ministry and sometimes unilaterally without due process. Similarly, the report states that the demand for human resources in the health sector continues to grow with health infrastructure expanding. In recent years, many new hospitals were established and basic health units upgraded. However, the Commission has been seeing a positive development in other sectors and agencies. As per the report, the demand for staff is stabilizing and even decreasing in some agencies. This is partly due to the efficiency of ICT systems in reducing workloads. Besides, multitasking of staff and doing away with redundant posts contributed in reducing the number of staff. As of June this year, there are more than 31,000 civil servants in the country. Sangishizom, BBS News.
More than 100 business licenses in Phuentsholing used for engaging in fronting have been surrendered so far. They were among 300 businesses in the region suspected of fronting. Today, business entities engaged in fronting can surrender their licenses without having to pay any penalty. However, they will have to face criminal charges later if they don't come forward now.
Since the beginning of last year, 60 trading licenses and 55 service licenses, such as for bars, restaurants, and workshops, were surrendered. They were all engaged in fronting. Meanwhile, over 100 business owners have denied the charges and gave a written statement saying that they are not involved in fronting. According to the regional director of the Ministry of Economic Affairs, it is hard to conclude who all are engaged in fronting, as there are many Indians who actually own valid business licenses in Phinsoling.
COVID-19
Due to COVID-19, the border gates are closed, so those who own business licenses here couldn't come in. Few also didn't come in thinking that business is a bit down here. So all these shops are currently closed. People think all these shops are involved in fronting, but we cannot say that now. Only after we start the strict inspection, we will know whether it is fronting or not.
According to the regional director, some Bhutanese license holders are engaged in minting easy money through commissions with someone investing from across the border. Earlier this year, business fronting was classified as a criminal offence in the Penal Code Amendment Act of Bhutan 2021. As per the Penal Code, a defendant shall be guilty of the offence if the defendant leases or subleases, hires or otherwise permits another person to use or operate one's license unless otherwise permitted by laws or policies. The law will come into effect from January next year. The regional office for the Ministry of Economic Affairs is sensitizing the business community in the border towns, as fronting is suspected to be widely spread here because of an open border with free movement of people. The office said ignorance can't be an excuse once the law is implemented.
In order to prevent people from being victims of the law, the regional offices across the country are carrying out awareness programs.
Beginning next year, the office is going to implement strict inspections and monitor the businesses. There are over 3,000 business entities under Phinsoling Thomde. For Sonam Penjo in Phinsoling, Sringzam, BBS News.
Started in 2014, the road widening of the East-West Highway has been moving at a snail's pace. Initially expected to complete in 2017, the project will now only be ready by February 2023. With regular roadblocks and poor road conditions along this highway, many travelers are frustrated with the progress.
Widening works on more than 60 kilometers of the highway between Ura in Bumthang and Namling in Mongar is in full swing. The contract for this stretch was awarded in September last year. The blacktopping work for almost 11 kilometers of the stretch between Korila and Ngatsang in Mongar has already begun. However, some commuters are not happy with the work progress and the poor condition of the highway.
When the second government started the project, they said the project would be completed by 2018. Forget about completing it by 2018, the formation cutting is also not yet done, though it is already 2021.
Earlier, we could reach Senghor from Lingmithang within 2 to 3 hours. But these days, it is difficult even in 4 hours. Due to the poor road condition, small cars get damaged, causing inconveniences to the commuters.
Due to the ongoing widening work, the bumpy roads damage the small cars plying on the highway. It is also risky for heavy vehicle drivers ferrying loads.
Due to the monsoon, several potholes have developed on the highway, and we have to also push the vehicles often. Sometimes we also land up spending the night on the road.
Going by the deadline, the widening works between Ura in Bumthang and Yongkola in Mongar will finish only by 2023. Similarly, the road condition along this stretch between Chazam in Tashigang and Tashiangti, which is a part of the Northern East-West Highway project, is also very poor. the slow progress of the work has left many complaining of the inconvenience.
The highway has become worse. The stretch between Zangbuzor and Buyang is so horrible that there is even a risk of occurring motor vehicle accidents due to the ongoing road widening project.
The poor road condition has been damaging our cars for a very long time, but these days it has become more convenient for us since the highway has improved. We have been traveling on the poor road for over 5 years.
Unlike the stretch between Ura and Yonkola, the road widening here is expected to complete in September next year. According to engineers from the Department of Roads, contract issues, unfavorable weather, continuous flow of traffic, and occurrence of roadblocks along the highway hindered the work progress. For Sonam Singh and Sonam Darge, Sam Tendolkar, BBS News.
Once again, the ramp will come to life with glamour. After more than a decade, Miss Bhutan Beauty Pageant is back. This year's edition of the event is going to be organized next month. And unlike the past events, an overwhelming number of participants are ready for it.
After Bhutan's beauty pageant crowned Tsoki Somagarchung and Sonamchodin Reddy Miss Bhutan in 2008 and 2010 respectively, the event went dead silent. But this year, we could see the third Miss Bhutan. With a huge number of contestants, the competition might become stiff.
Earlier, when I first organized in 2008, that was really difficult. Most of the good girls, potential girls, do not want to compete. We had to literally call the potential girls, sometimes their parents, sometimes themselves, to encourage them to participate. But today is just the opposite. The moment I have advertised the registration online, the girls started registration. The number of registration coming in is overwhelming.
After 2010, the event could not be continued due to the lack of sponsors, coupled with several other reality shows. The situation has not changed much.
The biggest challenge is getting sponsors, because we have so many reality shows, especially because of the pandemic. Most of the companies, especially the tourism, hotel and media section, are doing very bad. That's why it is very difficult, but we are trying our best to convince some of the potential sponsors to come out and help.
Many youth returned from abroad after the pandemic and many in the country were laid off. So this year's edition is mainly focused to engage them.
In addition to the young girls in Thimphu, we have so many young youth, especially girls, who have traveled back from abroad to the country. And I thought this is the right time to engage all the young girls into something like Miss Bhutan.
So far, more than 300 individuals have registered. Of it, about 50 will be selected during the audition, which is expected to take place early next month. The event will be broadcast on BBS after selecting the top 20 contestants. Some of the winning contestants from the past went on to become actors, air hostesses, among many others. The event this year might give birth to yet another group of talented women. This is Ringdandup, BBS News.
She fell in love with the game at a very young age. She dreamt of becoming a professional cricketer. And today, passion with a good portion of optimism has put Ngawang Chude well on track to living her dreams. She is the youngest and a key player in the women's national cricket team, as the reporter Ringdandup shares her story.
It all started 5 years ago. Ngawang was just 9 years old when she discovered her calling, cricket. After that, there has been no looking back for the left-handed batswoman.
When I started playing cricket, I did not hope for anything big, but gradually I started seeing some scope and got into the national team. That's when I was convinced of a bright future in the sport.
Ngawang was selected for the national team 2 years ago. Her dedication to the sport is testified by her decision to drop out of school for a year. She wants to prepare hard for the ICC Women's Asia qualifiers, which will be held in Malaysia in November.
I felt that continuing both studies and cricket practice session would ultimately hamper my studies. I have to train every evening. So I informed my parents about my decision and they were very supportive.
Ngawang says she is stressed and anxious about the upcoming tournament. At the same time, she is optimistic of qualifying for the next round.
Sometimes I worry how I can perform in such international tournaments, but my seniors support and guide me well. So I feel we will qualify for the next round. Everyone is positive and giving their best.
100% positive dula.
Kumar Subba, the current assistant coach of the women's national team, has been one of the significant figures in Ngawang's cricketing career. He feels that Ngawang could become one of the biggest names in the sport.
She easily pick up whatever shot I teach her. She is very smart. She has that maturity that I have to be till end of the inning. The best thing about her is that if she continues like that, she will be the star, our future star. Okay. She's the youngest one also, and she's that all the capabilities she have, and she's really hardworking too. We don't put pressure on her because she's the youngest one, and then we just let her play freely.
For Ngawang's senior colleagues and friends, they hope that she continues playing cricket with the same passion and enthusiasm.
She was only 11 years old when we first met. Since then, she has improved a lot. If she puts in a little more effort, I feel she will do even better. Since she is a left-handed batsman, there's an advantage.
According to the Bhutan Cricket Council Board, Ngawang is a role model to many youth aspiring to become professional sportsperson. Meanwhile, for Ngawang, she has found happiness and a purpose in life through the love for cricket. And if the passion continues, it may not be long before she hits boundaries, not just within the country, but beyond too. This is Ringdandup, BBS News.
And with this, we bring to the end of this edition of News Magazine program. Until next time, I'm Cheku signing off only for now.